Rat and Families, it's Miss Massey, the school counselor. I'm so glad that you have joined us for Coffee with the Counselor. Today, we are going to talk about anger management and how you can help your child express their anger in a positive way. Also, on this more, you will see books, other strategies, maybe things that you can read that will also help you either with anger management yourself or for your children. As we begin, I want to remind you that anger is a normal emotion. The goal of working with children on anger management is not to prevent them from ever feeling angry, but to help them express their feelings in a healthy way. A great way to remind children of this is to tell them that it's okay to be mad, but it's not okay to be mean. So, the first thing we're going to do is talk about tips for parents. So, while children are ultimately responsible for their choices that they make, there are things that you can do as a parent or guardian to support your child as they work on anger management. One of the first steps for anger management is to consider what your child is communicating through his or her anger. Anger can often be a manifestation of other feelings like disappointment, sadness, or frustration. By considering what the root cause is of anger, you will be able to better help your child work through it. Another important part of anger management is helping your child learn strategies that they can use to cope with anger that they experience. We talk about more specific examples of these coping skills later on, but it is important to have a plan in place for what your child can do when he or she gets angry. Just like any skill, children get better at using coping skills with practice. It is best to practice these strategies and talk about their coping skills plan when your child is calm. The more comfortable your child feels using these strategies, the more likely they will use them when they start feeling upset. Something else that can be helpful is to have a visual representation of your child's coping strategies. Depending on your child's age, this could be a piece of paper with pictures on it or a list of different strategies that they can do. Post it in a place where your child will see it often. This can be a great way to make sure your child is familiar with their strategies, and it gives them ideas for what they can do when they start to feel angry. When you see your child using their coping skills, or at least attempting to, praise them. Let them know that their effects have not gone unseen and that you are proud of them for the work that they have done. Perhaps one of the most important and most difficult things to remember when your child is angry is to make sure you are in control of your own anger. If you respond to your child's anger with more anger, it just adds fuel to the fire. If you notice that you start to get angry, it's important to use your own coping strategies. Not only will this help you support your child, but it also gives them a chance to see you modeling the behavior that you actually want them to see from you. So next we're going to go over some coping skills for anger. Thankfully, there are so many different coping strategies that may help your child with his or her anger. It is also great to have a variety of coping strategies that your child can choose from, as some coping skills may not always be possible or may not seem to be helpful at the time. You can find lists online of hundreds of different coping strategies, but today I'm going to share some of my favorites with you. And like I said, in this more, I will also add links and to other strategies or things that I feel like are helpful. So there's going to be more examples down below. A powerful coping strategy for any intense emotion is deep breathing. Deep breathing exercises can help slow down your child's brain and body, which can be really helpful when they feel amped up or overwhelmed. And we do this at school all the time. We practice our hour deep breathing by calling it belly breathing or rainbow breathing, or we ask them to smell the flower and blow out the candle. They may call it different things in their classrooms. So ask your child what kind of breathing they do. But it's simple. I ask them to close their eyes so then they don't have any distractions. And then I ask them to take a deep breath in through their nose and out through their mouth. And I ask them to do it about 6 or 7 times because
Doing it that many times will really help their body calm down. Whereas if you just do it one or two, it really doesn't do that much calming. So the more you can calm down, the more you're able to sit down and have that conversation and do some problem solving. Many times it can be also very beneficial for your child to get out of the situation that is making him or her angry. Of course, this is not always possible, but walking away can give your child the ability to step out of the situation before it gets too intense. It is important to remind your child that even if they are leaving a situation that makes them upset, an adult must always know where they are, and if applicable, ask for permission. So at school, this is a safety concern. So your child just can't leave the classroom. Some of my kids have code words with their teachers that they have to say before they're allowed to leave, or they can just simply go and ask a permission from their teacher to take a break. So make sure that your child understands that they can't just leave the classroom. They have to talk to their teacher first. But at home, you guys can have your own safety plan for what's comfortable for your family. For many children, anger presents itself with a desire to act out in a physical way. This is why it is common for children and just people in general to become physically aggressive when they are angry. For some children, it is helpful to still give them the opportunity to release their anger physically, but of course, it has to be in a safe way. So, some ideas for this include punching a pillow, ripping paper in the trash can, pressing up against their seat, or even like standing against the wall, pushing the wall. It's like stretching, it's releasing their muscles. And so, that is another strategy for them to be able to let out some of that anger. Other coping skills and strategies to use are like getting a drink of cold water. That can be very soothing to a child. Talking to an adult, or thinking about things that make them happy, such as a favorite place or a fond memory. So, those are just a few of the strategies. Like I said, I'll have more down below that you can either go check out on websites or read about. So, now, what do you say? When you're talking to a child who is feeling angry, it can be hard to know what to say. The most important thing to remember is to validate their feeling and let them know that it is okay and that you are there for support. So, one thing that can make anger management hard for kids is that they don't realize they are angry until their anger has gotten out of control. By simply helping them identify their anger, you are helping them learn to recognize it themselves. Simply noting their anger in a calm, non judgmental way is a great way to help children realize how they are feeling. Anger is an uncomfortable emotion. It's intense anger, and it can lead children to feel overwhelmed and even afraid. By using words like let's and together, you show your child that they are not alone and that you are there to support them. Sometimes it can be helpful to ask your child what they think the next steps are. This can offer them a sense of control in the situation. If you feel like your child needs more guidance, you can provide ideas for coping strategies they can use, such as let's walk outside or let's take some deep breaths together. Again, this language of togetherness gives your child a sense of security in an overwhelming situation. If your child has acted out in anger and didn't do what was expected of him or her, offering to give the child a fresh start can be helpful. A redo can be a great way to help your child have a feeling of success after making a poor choice. Although the incident may be trivial to us as adults, it is important not to diminish your child's feelings. If we say things like, stop crying, or you're being a baby, the child may feel ashamed of the feelings he or she is experiencing. Similarly, simply telling a child to calm down may just remind your child of his or her inability to stay calm in that situation, which can further be feelings of shame or embarrassment. Remember, anger is a normal and common feeling. However, if you feel like your child has a particularly difficult time managing their anger, or if it affects their daily functioning, such as interacting with peers, completing schoolwork, being in the classroom, it can be helpful to consult some outside help. You can talk to your child's pediatrician, or I can help you get some connections with other resources in the area that can help support you and your child. However, I hope these ideas we talked about today will give you a good place to start. Thank you again for coming to my Coffee with the Counselor over Anger Management. I have attached on this more a printout of the things that we talked today, so you're more than welcome to click on it and print it out. And please, like I said, go ahead and read the different things that I have posted, the videos, songs, books. You can even look all that stuff up with your child, and y'all can do it together. So I hope this was helpful. You can let me know in an email or on Schoology if you have any questions or comments. But thank you for coming today. I hope it helps. Bye.